welcome to another exciting episode of the Dreaded Archer Podcast. I'm your host, Trey, and today we got a special guest, Mr. Dan Staton from ELKSHAPE. Dan, how you doing this morning?
Oh, I saw my wife walk out.
Right?
She's she was like, I'm in jammies. I'm getting out of here. I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on, Trey.
No problem, man. I really appreciate you taking time out of your early morning to come chat with me. We on two different time zones, and like we got to make this thing work.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate it. Where are you at? You're in South Dakota or
Yep,
North
I'm in
Dakota?
Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Sweet. I love South Dakota.
Yeah, I've been here 7 years. I've only hunted it the last four, and let me tell you, it's a great place. One of my buddies was like, "Bro, you in South Dakota, you got to get into hunting." I was like, "I guess so."
Fact.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and I know, and you've been out here a couple times hunting, right?
Yeah, just like mule deer, whitetail hunting a little bit late season, freezing my beans off, man. It can get really cold there, and the wind just hits different in South
Oh yeah,
Dakota. Oh,
and see,
yeah.
and you hunt over on the west side of the state, like out towards like Rapid City and like the Badlands area, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the wind hit different out there, and like 2 weeks ago they got like 70 inches of snow.
I believe it. I mean, it's harsh. Last time I was in South Dakota, it probably averaged 0 degrees the entire hunt. It was brutal, man. It really tested your metal, your equipment, and your mind game. But we pulled it out and we got some deer killed, and I couldn't wait to get home and get warm.
Yeah, no, last year, I got the bright idea, like, you know what? I'm gonna go out and hunt this morning. It was like -1 degrees. I'm like, I'm gonna go out and do it. I got in the tree stand, and then I'm not gonna lie to you. After about 10 minutes, I was like, I started regretting it. I was like, I can't do this. And right as I got ready to, you know, pack it up, I see two doe come out the creek. So I'm like watching them, and right behind him, he wasn't a giant, but he was definitely out. I mean, for me, I was like, oh, that's a wall hanger right there. So I waited it out, and they never got in bow range, and they end up just walking out of my life. And I was like, yeah, I'm gone. I'm done. I'm done.
I'm out.
I can't do it, man.
Mm.
So, hey, Dan, before we get started, let the dreaded archer listeners know a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Dreaded archers. I'm just a bow hunter, obsessed with elk hunting. I literally rearrange, prioritize elk hunting pretty high up in my life. Uh, Day to day, I do this thing called ELKSHAPE for a living. Um, I didn't always say that. Before that, I ran a gym for 11, 12 years. I had my own gym. Before that, I was working like in strength and conditioning realm. Before that, personal trainer. So I've kind of been in that fitness space a long time, but at the end of the day, I would say I'm just an obsessed, like an ordinary bow hunter with an extraordinary passion to chase bugles out west.
Oh, heck yeah. So
Yeah, man.
where'd that obsession come from?
Just I got hooked right away, man. Like I didn't know anything about elk hunting, and I went deer scouting with my dad at the age of 20. I might have been 19. I can't remember, but we went scouting for deer. We were gonna go rifle hunting, and we went into some public land and found a pile of elk. And I just remember we went back to town, and I don't even think there was internet yet, or it was like AOL dial up, So we like went to the store and got the hunting regulations and found that elk opened the following weekend. And we
Ooh.
were like, oh snap, let's go hunt elk. And so like two knuckle draggers just went into the mountains with rifles, and I killed a bull that morning. Couldn't believe how big it was. Couldn't believe how much meat we got. Couldn't like We were so out of our element, man. Like we actually gutted that elk and we drug it down a pretty big mountain, two dudes with ropes and come alongs, and got it to a road. And then we got a four-wheeler with the trailer, and somehow we got it loaded on a trailer. We took it out whole, which makes me laugh. And the short story is like, it didn't take me long to figure out if you want to hunt these things when they're bugling, you got to do it with archery equipment. And my personality is definitely like all or none. And so it, without a doubt, the next season I had a bow in my hand out in the backyard, teaching myself all the wrong habits and skills of shooting a bow. And I knew nothing, didn't have a mentor. I just dove right in, man.
Oh, dang. So did you grow up hunting, or was that like you and your dad's first hunting trip?
No, man, like my dad did a really bang up job taking me hunting when I was little. Like I would beg him to take me even grouse hunting. And then I got my hunter safety when I was 10, did some deer hunting. And then once I hit junior high, I pretty much was committed to sports. So I didn't do any hunting junior high, high school. But the second I got out of high school, that's where I said my dad did such a good job because I was like, um he didn't initiate it. I initiated. I was like, yo dad, hunting was really cool, let's like get back into it, I'm done with sports. And we just jumped right back in, and then we went on that hunt together. And next thing you know, now I'm a bow hunter now, and I'm gonna bow hunt elk, and the rest is like almost history, really.
So after that hunting trip with your dad, that's when you like first picked up a bow?
Yeah, yeah, age 20.
Gosh, it's like when I watch you, I'm thinking like this dude grew up bow hunting. Like he got all the knowledge.
No, it's the archery's so cool because I've just been pretty obsessed with it, and there's so many stages to the game, man. Like I've told people on my YouTube channel, like, I didn't know how to work on a bow till about 4 years ago. Like, I was the guy who had to lean on the archery shop to set up my bow. If something wasn't right with it, I'd have to bring it in. I couldn't diagnose it. Fast forward just the last 4 years, I've gone like in a position where I can work on my own equipment. And if I'm in the field and something goes awry, I can diagnose and probably fix it. And I can tune bows. And I'm still not as good as a pro shot, but I don't. So I mean, I'm pretty good. And I work on my buddies' bows when they need me to. And just under like, there's just so many levels to this game that I'm hooked because I'm still always trying to get better. Like especially now, like we're in the off season. It's like okay, like what can I do this year to get myself even better at archery? And it's never ending.
So where did the fitness come in at? So because when people watch you and your content on YouTube, I mean you got a ton of fitness videos. You're out in the gym getting it. Where did that part come in your life?
Yeah, well, on YouTube we don't put out a lot of fitness content. We try, and it's just it doesn't hit.
Yeah.
So we don't do a ton there. We do more of what works, and in our audience on that platform, it seems to be archery driven things. Oh, Alicia, we see you. You're not gonna sneak on us. And my dog. But no, like so the I'd say probably a lot of the content that we put out for fitness is we'll put it on Instagram, or we have a fitness app. We have another page, like a fitness program called Discomfort. But I've been selling workout programs on my website and stuff for the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. And I finally, there's a guy who owns an archery shop in Texas. His name's Corbin, Corbin's Archery. And he's got a great page on Instagram, by the way. He's got freebie Fridays. So if you're looking to like get free stuff, he sends out free stuff every Friday. So get on that. He's good for it. But he kept bugging me. He kept buying my programs. And he's like, when are you gonna make an app? When are you gonna make an app? And I was like, finally, I was like, fine, we'll make an app. You know, it's not cheap to make an app, but I'm so glad we did. And so the fitness content is it's fun for me because it's just like a natural thing that we do. It's part of our lifestyle. But I started training probably age 12 or 13, right before man, it was a summer. It was a summer where I got a mentor to help me lift weights, and he actually knew what he was doing. And he really like he built me a nutrition plan. He really didn't care about the lifting. Like he knew his technique, he knew his periodizations, but he knew how to like figure out my caloric intake to put on size and not get soft. And I remember I packed 20 pounds on in one summer, And I do remember going into like 8th grade and everyone being like, what happened to you? You
Yeah.
look great. Like you look, and the confidence was awesome. But I did it for football and wrestling. I wanted to get stronger and I wanted to put on size. And that probably just started a situation that I enjoyed fitness and what it did for me. And then obviously when I found elk hunting, um, I stopped trying to be like a kind of a bodybuilder. I stopped worrying about aesthetics and I really started chasing performance in the mountains. Was like that was the cornerstone. That's what I'm training for. That is my why. And so throughout the years my training's evolved. I've done it all. I think I have, at least, like everything from running long distance to isolation body part training to hell, we competed at CrossFit at a high level. We've done a lot of functional fitness, and it's just evolved, and now I've just kind of got it tailored to where I train year round, but my goal is to peak September 1st. And
Right.
my goal is to reset my program around November 1st. So I kind of got 2 months of in season training or maintenance, and then it's a complete reset. And that seasonality didn't start overnight. Like, it's been tweaks and it still will get tweaked. And I think the premise of my training has always been find your weakness, make it a strength. And don't spend a lot of your time on strengths, which is the fun training.
Right.
Don't do that. Do the not fun training and work on the weaknesses. So, and I got plenty of those. So,
Yeah, see, my thing is cardio. I hate cardio. I hate it. I hate it. And I got a football background. So played high school football, played college football. So and I was a running back. So I'm just, short bursts is all you get out of me. You know what I'm saying?
yes, yes.
And but trying to get in shape, trying to shed all the, football weight and actually get into, like I guess you can call it like backcountry shape. It requires a lot of cardio, a lot of endurance. And I dread it. Every other day I dread getting on that treadmill or hitting that trail. It's like, but you gotta do it. Like, I just hate it.
Yeah, you're either going to pay for it come fall, or you're going to pay for it early on. There's another human. That's my son, Tristan. What's up,
Right.
buddy?
I got a sister named Tristan.
Oh, yeah?
I know a lot of Tristans.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's a troublemaker. My office is upstairs, but it's definitely the hub. People like to come up here and kick it. So, and I work from home, which is the greatest gift on earth, man. I'm a homebody. So we built a gym in our backyard. We built a shop. Oh, not that long ago, a couple years ago, maybe, yeah, last year. And so it's funny, Trey. Like, we built it with the idea of like a third of it will be like a little home gym area because we had a home gym in our garage, and it was just perfect. And we're like, oh, we'll just take this equipment, we'll put it in here, and then I don't know, something happened and it's evolved to where the entire shop, 30 by 40, is one big gym. And all our neighbors, this is the best part, all our neighbors come and train with my wife and I, and like we kind of have like this new thing where like our goal is to have the fittest neighborhood. And we've really gotten to know our neighbors really well, and you're supposed to love your neighbor as you love yourself. and
Right?
and so it's been really cool to like watch them just, well, like right now I'm sure a couple people have walked by my driveway and just gone into the gym to go work out, and it's just like our way. We don't, there's no membership, it's just what we do, and it's been so rewarding.
Hey, that'd be pretty cool. Have like a big sign in your neighborhood, like fittest neighborhood in America.
Yeah, yeah, that's the goal, man, and it's kind of working. So
Also, so you just allow people just to, in the neighborhood just to walk in and come train.
yeah, like last night I was in the gym working out, and lady lives 2 doors down. She's a vet. She walks in and she's like, "What's up? I got a workout I'm doing." I'm like, "Cool." And it's just special, man.
Oh yeah, like anytime you get a group of people all together and you guys all chasing a common goal, it's nothing but a good time always.
Yeah, and it's definitely an important part of our life, and we're trying to get our kids to see that. And so, but having a why, which is elk hunting, and leveraging elk hunting to make really important, disciplined decisions year round is kind of like the whole premise of my brand, ELKSHAPE. Like, we're not selling Matthews bows. We're not selling you workout programs. We're selling hard work. Like, that's what we're selling you. If you want to buy that, do hard work and good things happen. And it's just an easy message to. It's a positive message, and so that's what I'm promoting.
So when you started ELKSHAPE, was it just you, or did you get together with a bunch of buddies and you guys, got it going?
Yeah, the ELKSHAPE started technically in 2013. I shut down my ownership. I had a business partner. We started a company called traintohunt.com, and we put out workouts for hunters, and we did like train to hunt challenges out west. And that was really fun. But I had two gyms and that, and I was like, I can't do all this. And so I kept the gyms, he kept train to hunt. And then in 2013, I bought the domain ELKSHAPE because I was like obsessed elk hunter. I don't really want to help people get ready for their sheep hunt or their mule deer hunt. I want to help you get ready for your elk hunt. And that's what I'm doing. So I started blogging in 2013 and putting up any articles that I'd ever written, and started a YouTube channel. And just, I still ran the gym, but I just kind of had my little pet project, ELKSHAPE. So it was like a little side hustle that
Right.
I didn't start it out as a business plan or anything, just a passion project.
So I kind of go back because I have a question for you. So during the season, how do you manage staying in shape? Because I know you said you hit the reset button, but during the season, like, how do you like get your workouts and still stay on a strict diet, or you just like, all right, I'm at peak condition in September, and then I'm gonna let it ride until January.
So my season, I don't like, hunting's hard to like have a rock steady plan.
Right.
Things are things are kind of moving and floating, and you have to be fluid. But historically speaking, and this is historically speaking back to when I first picked up a bow, Trey, I elk hunt as much as possible in September. And so I wish I could go back and like count up my average days per September for the last 21 seasons. But I think it's safe to bet at least 21 days out of 30, I was elk hunting, if not more. So it's not like I'm like your average guy going out a couple days during the week and weekend warrioring it. I have sacrificed, I have quit jobs for elk hunting. I am weird. And so when I say my season, like I'll just go through last year, like I left for elk hunting on August 28th in the evening. My season opened August 30th, and then enough elk tags to last me till October 16th when Montana closes. And so I had that many days set aside, and I told my wife, and there's a lot that goes into this to just be able to do this. I just want to make people don't get it twisted. You can't just do this one year and think you're going to have a marriage or think your kids are going to be cool with it. Like, it's some proper prior planning. But I go into September with the mindset of like, I will be gone most of, or if not all of September. And so, no, I do not work out during September at all. I actually get in worse shape while elk hunting, which is crazy, but I'm averaging 10 miles a day. And that's not like a inflated number. It's literally, that's what I average. There are days where there's less, and there's certainly days that there are more. But when you're just 30, 40 pound pack on your back and you're elk hiking all day long, you're not getting stronger.
Right.
You're using the oxidative energy system. You're burning fat for primary energy source or whatever you can eat. And I mean, I try to be, I make my meals in advance, and I have like a 1 gallon Ziploc bag, and I have 30 something of them in my tote. And I just grab one out every day, and it's got breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a ton of snacks. And it's around 3,300 calories. And I'll be lying if I said I ate everything. It's hard for me to like eat all that while I'm hunting, especially when the hunting's good.
Hmm.
And so I melt away every September, man. I literally plan. I'm way too honest. I literally tell my wife, "Hey, we're doing a photo shoot the second I get back from elk hunting, and my shirt's
Salad.
gonna be off because I'm gonna be at like 2% body fat, and I don't sustain that. That's not a good place to be. I probably am around 8 to 10% body fat year round, but coming out of September, I'm weak. I have great endurance. I have no strength. I have no power. I lose it so fast. My mobility is terrible because you're using the same repetitive movements for 30 days. You're going up, you're going down, you're side hilling, and you're going over downfall.
Yep.
So my hip flexors are tight. My glutes are weak. My calves are super overworked. My upper body is probably atrophied a little. And so my reset to me is like just, like November 1st, once October is done, is I'm working on building back strength, mobility, power output, power, kind of energy systems 1 and 2, which get neglected quite a bit. And then endurance kind of takes a backseat for a couple of months. I still address it a little bit, but endurance is a strength at that time of year. So we don't address it as much.
I've only been on one elk hunt in my entire life, and that was 2 years ago. And I told you before we got started, I was not in the shape that I thought that I was in because I was working out as if I was training for like football season.
Hmm.
So a lot of a lot of heavy weightlifting. Um, yeah, I do like 10, 15, 20-yard sprints. And like, that'll get me in shape. Then I had to make a drive from Sioux Falls to Montrose, Colorado. So that was probably about 14 hours.
Hmm.
So me and my buddies coming from Arkansas.
Oh
We're
boy.
so excited to get hunting. There was no wait time. It was we pulled up to the trailhead because I had the GPS going right to where we were going. Pulled up to the trailhead, get out, throw our stuff on after 14 hours of driving, and just hit the mountain. Pow! 15 minutes in, I'm like, I'm going to pass out, bro. My back is tight, legs are tight. I'm like, how is this happening to me? How am I breaking down so fast? I'm in shape. And he was like, no, dude, I was trying to tell you before, like you doing all the wrong workouts. Like
Yeah.
it's not football training. And I came in like I normally weigh about 245. I got down to like 230.
Hmm.
And by the time we got off the mountain, I was probably like 225, 220 because I was just, like I said, wasting away. And
Yeah. What? Mm.
yeah, it wasn't good. But like for me, for my season, I feel like I'm in tip top shape in September. And then as soon as archery season starts, I stop working out. So from September to January 1st, I don't touch a gym. I don't run. I don't do anything. And I just blow up during hunting season. Cause like I said, I normally don't elk hunt. So it's normally just, whitetail, mule deer, pheasant. I'm doing a little bit of everything, antelope. And I'm just at camp, you're having a couple beers, you're eating good. And it's just like I blow up. I probably gained 20, 30 pounds during from September to January. And I'm like, how does Dan do it? How does Dan stay in shape all
Yeah.
season long? Seems like.
Well, I've made it abundantly easy or convenient for me to go work out. I got to walk 100 yards in my backyard. I don't have to get in the truck and drive 20 minutes through traffic, do a workout, drive back home 20 more minutes. I don't got time for that. But like to relate to what your scenario is, like my whitetail season here in Washington, I hit it pretty hard in December. But what I do is I think I only did one full day sit this year. And so I've kind of rearranged my hunting schedule to where I try to hunt weekdays over weekends, obviously, as a public land hunter. And then I make sure that I work out. I think almost all of December when I was whitetail hunting, I would work out somewhere between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. and then go inside, eat, shower, get all my clothes in a tote, scent free, whitetail stuff, and then go just hunt evenings and prime time stuff. And I did that and that worked out well for me. I was able to probably get all my workouts in that week and I still eat really clean. But if you're sitting in a tree stand day in and day out, dark to dark, it's going to be really hard. You're going to have to want it really bad. You're going to have to train before, which is probably not going to happen. So you're going to have to come home. late and get a workout in, whether it be like just with your body weight or with a treadmill or dumbbells. I went to Arizona in December to hunt mule deer with an outfit called Big Chino Outfitters,
Oh,
and
I
they
met
had a
Big Chino.
okay, so they got an entire Sornix gym set up at their hunting camp. And I'm not going to throw my friends under the bus, but I was the only one who came back every day at 12 to work out. Did I want to work out? No, but I can't afford not to. So I did the training at while I was on that hunt. I probably got 4 or 5 workouts in on a 7-day hunt. And were they world class workouts? No, but definitely I didn't lose any ground. It's just making a disciplined decision. I can promise you, I feel like not working out 99 times out of 100, but I still will get the workouts in because I have a goal, and my goal
Right.
is to kill an elk, and that's it. That's my only goal in 2023 is kill an elk with a bow. And because I have that laser focus, I don't get a say. My goals get a say, and I got to do that. So, but it is hard. I'm trying to tell you right now, it is hard to stay in shape during, especially like archery, deer type seasons, when gas station food can be on the menu a ton, and
Always.
it's just a grind, and you know you got to punch a clock in a stand. It's tough to go make yourself a priority, but it is definitely not impossible, and I refuse to accept any excuses about that.
Oh, yo, this year I made it a goal not to eat any gas station food, like at all, because I'm a vendor for gas stations. So I my job, I'm in and out of gas stations all day long, and
Oh man.
the first year of the job, I kid you not, I bet you I packed on 25 pounds, and that was just, oh, I'm just going in, boom boom, do my work. I grab a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, next door, oh, I'll grab a donut, and then the amount of energy drinks is just crazy. And my mom called me one day. She goes, "You're getting puffy, son." Because my face is
Oh,
yeah. And when mom goes, "You're getting puffy," it's like, all right, that's a sign. Because I've never been a big guy.
yeah.
I immediately like get on the keto diet. And that was
Mhm.
not good at all. I lost a lot of weight, but I gained it all right back. And I was just like, then I started having like weight issues. Like, oh my gosh, I'm getting big. I'm getting big. So I was like, you know what? This next hunt season, no gas station food at all, or actually all of 2022, no gas station food. I'm done with it because it'll pack the pounds on you for sure.
The keto diet is so good and bad at the same time.
Right.
I try to like tell people, and I just try to be honest with them. I'm like, hey, you know, it takes a couple weeks to like get those ketones to switch, you know, from a let's just skip the science, but it takes a couple weeks for the bioenergetic pathway to like switch, and
Right.
you know, the ketosis to kick in, and so you're not taking in carbohydrates. And my biggest concern about that is the sustainability of it over a long period of time. I haven't seen too many people be able to sustain it, and so they'll see some really good results like you did, but eventually carbohydrates will sneak their way back into your mouth, and then you will put on the weight. I mean, carbohydrates come with water. You take in carbs, you're going to take in some water as far as your body goes. And I just don't think it's very sustainable. So I like the idea of maybe carb cycling a little bit, where maybe you take in more carbohydrates on the days that you are going to train, and then maybe you back off on your carbohydrate gram intake on the days you do not train. um, and I don't know, it's just I don't do it. Just I do take in, you know, a certain macronutrient like profile, if you will, like, but it's really hard to do anything keto and stay on it for a longer term. But I do think it has its place, definitely when some people have a genetic disposition to, they look at a piece of bread and they get fat. You know what I mean? Like there's just
Yeah.
some people that are super carb sensitive, and I get it. Um, but all in all, like trying to find a sweet spot that, you know, and it goes back to your Colorado hunt, Trey. Like you got to show up to the trailhead with a purpose for every pound on your body. Like you can't have extra weight that's just there because it looks good or whatever. Like it's got to be super functional weight on your body. You take 20 pounds off your body that you don't need, that's like pulling 20 pounds out of your backpack you don't have to lug around. It's going to make a difference day 5 or day 7. And then obviously driving 14 hours straight to the trailhead, that sounds like a play out of my playbook. I'm known to just change locations at night, skip on sleep, and start hunting the next morning. But when you don't live at 10,000 feet, you got to hunt your way up. Like you got to spend day 1 at 6 to 7,000 feet, get acclimated. I don't care what kind of shape you're in, and then 7 to 8,500 the day 2. And man, I think a lot of elk, like Colorado aside, like I'm talking Wyoming, Montana, Idaho. I think 9,000 feet is where most of the elk will live and spend a lot of their time. You can find most of your elk under 10,000 feet. You know, there's a few exceptions, obviously, but just work your way up the mountain and acclimate, regardless of the physical conditioning you're in. I live at 2,200 feet. I think people think I live in Washington and it's super high. It's not high.
Yeah.
I can't just jump into 10,000 feet and feel my best. I can do that, but it's just there's going to be a little headache involved. I have to really stay hydrated, and elevation, Mother Nature, she doesn't give and you know what
Yeah.
about
Yeah. I
how
know.
old you are, what's in your checking account, how special you are, how many followers you have. Mother Nature don't care. She's going to
Don't
treat you the
care.
same. So you got to like acclimate and listen to your body.
So would you say like a week is not long enough to go out and get it done?
It is long enough, but you got to evaluate a couple things like how much hunting experience do you have? How much elk hunting experience do you have? Have you ever been in this area before? What's your knowledge of elk behavior and biology? What's the hunting pressure like? And so, yeah, you can get her done in 7 days, but it's going to be an uphill battle. And time is a bow hunter's biggest ally. So
Right.
I would always campaign to go trade your 7-day hunt for a 10-day hunt, because check this out, Trey. I don't think people think about it this way, but you said you drove 14 hours one way. Well,
Right.
you got a 14-hour drive back, and you said you had a hunting partner. Well, your 7-day hunt just got cut down to 5.5 days because of driving. And then you don't even know where you're going exactly. You might have to move camps a few times or
Yep.
change locations. That's going to take time. And then you and your hunting partner are not going to be the shooter and the caller every day. You're probably going to flip flop, whether it
Right.
be encounters or every day. So your 5.5 day, if you're a shooter every other day, you just signed up for like 2.5, 3 days of elk hunting for yourself. And if your hunting partner sticks a bull, wounds it, and now you both are going to spend the next day and a half looking for the bull, or better yet, one of you gets one, it's going to take you a couple days to get that elk off the mountain. Then you got to go to town, get it hanging or get it in a cooler, and then drive back. I mean, so time is your ally. I think to do it proper, you need to do like a weekend through a weekend, like a 10-day hunt or a 14-day hunt if you can. But no hunting sucks. So I'll
Right.
take 7 days over nothing. I'm just saying, like, you got to put those other things into consideration.
Yeah, I think one of our biggest things was like not knowing the place we were going to. It's you can look on those apps. You can get on Google Earth and all that, but it's not the same. It ain't the same at all. So like, how do you get boots on the ground a lot, or do you do a lot of e-scouting?
So I do not get boots on the ground a lot. I made a decision several years ago to stop scouting in the summer and
Mm.
to spend more. Like I do get a quick scouting mission in once a summer, and it's a bonsai trip, and it's usually just going to a couple places, throwing out cameras, not much sleep involved, and get back home. I do not want to rob my family time for scouting. And so quite a few years ago, especially once we had kids, I was like, the scouting's got to cut down by 75%. So I do lean heavily on e-scouting. Um, and I'm not the world's greatest e-scouter, but man, I got some buddies that are. And I've learned a lot from like Mark Livesay, Tree Line Academy. He's got an entire elk hunting course on e-scouting, and he dives so deep, and a lot of it's over my head, but the fundamentals have changed my game. Like your Google Earth, if you don't know how to do tilt exaggeration, you're going to think you can go here and go there and go check out this. And then, like you said, when you get there, you're going to have a reality check of like, this is so much bigger, so much steeper. This is not
Mhm.
what it looked like on my desktop. So I utilize OnX and I utilize Google Earth and I utilize my buddy's course and I build out hunt plans. And I have so many hunt plans that are in writing and they're fully detailed descriptions of where to park, how to access, um, bottlenecks to inspect when I get there. When I say bottlenecks, I mean where hubs of other hunters are going to camp because it's got a stream or a nice camp spot or a dead end or this trail. And so I'm always looking for obscure areas where the elk are going to seek um, some sort of relief from the hunting pressure.
Right.
I got plans A through Z. I tell you what, I never not have enough plans, but it's better to have and not need than to need and not have. So e-scouting to me is huge. I spend an hour a day e-scouting all summer long, writing up my hunt plans once I get my tags figured out, and I print those out and they're on hand and I'm very familiar with where I'm going. And so, and it certainly didn't start that way, but it's what I have to do. Um, do I wish I could get boots on the ground more? Absolutely. It's a game changer if you can. I would encourage it. But at the end of the day, a lot of guys don't have time from Arkansas to fly into Denver, rent a truck, drive 3
Yep.
hours, go get boots on the ground, get back home. It's going to cost you a lot of money and time. So if you could learn how to e-scout, I would do that.
Oh, definitely. I didn't even know how to read a topo map. So
Oh,
I was planning for an elk hunt and I was on Onyx. I'm like, what is this topo setting? And we just skip past it. It's like,
oh shoot.
yeah, I just like I don't need that. Like skip past it. And my buddy's like, we were talking about it and we are on the phone and he knows how to read maps and all that stuff. And I keep man, like, dude, like, why you keep talking about this topo stuff? We don't need that. He goes, dude, that's lets you know how steep, the terrain is. I was like, oh, I probably should have been looking at that. So I was just kind of like all over the place. But this is a little off subject, but it's something that like that I really admire about you. When we were trying to plan this podcast, and I was like, hey, I do my shows in the evening. You was like, hey, evening's family time.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I respect that. Like he cuts time out of his day, for his family, and that's big. Because I have a hard time right now with like work life balance, like trying to juggle,
Yeah.
working and trying to hunt, and all my other hobbies is like this. I'm all over the place. I have to write stuff down. Like, how do you manage your work life balance?
I honestly don't, man. Um, my wife is off screen, but she would back you up. Like I bet at least 10 times in the last 3 years, she's been like, you got up at 5, you started working, and it's 6 o'clock at night, and you're still working. Like, and this is 6 days in a row. Because, guys, when I work from home, I literally never trade. I never know what day of week it is. Unless the kids are here still. It must be a weekend. Like,
Right.
when you work for yourself, man, it's tough to clock out because there's always something you can be doing.
Right.
And my personality, it's really hard for me to shut it down. And so I'm a workaholic for sure. But I think on number 10, the 10th lecture of from Mrs. ELKSHAPE, I was like, all right, I gotta stop working. I gotta shut it down. And that goal was 6 p.m. And now it's getting down to 5:30 or 5 p.m. And like walking away from what I'm doing has been really important to me. So just trying to get a work life balance, have it on your radar, Trey. You're doing it right. Like if it's on your radar, you're going to try and then have some accountability. But it's impossible to, if you want to be successful, if you want, I don't, and whatever that means to you, um, if you want to achieve great things, it's going to take some sacrifice. But you don't want to sacrifice that family time. So
Right.
for me, I need help, and I lean on my wife to kind of hold me accountable. Like we're going skiing tomorrow as a family. If we didn't go skiing, we might go to church, but I would probably sneak into the office and do something for sure. And to me, it's like trying to plan trips. Like I've already booked a summer trip this summer. We're going to go on a jet boat up the Snake River. I've always wanted to do that, and I would have loved to just gone and do that with my wife, but like instead we booked it with the whole family, and we got it on the calendar, and we just got a couple plans for some camping trips already, and it's January when we're recording this. So like I'm like putting stuff on the calendar trying to, what I call, tip the scales, because I'm going to be gone a lot elk hunting, right?
Right.
And so I need to make deposits into their accounts, and those deposits aren't with money, they're not with words, they're with time. And so, just, I didn't learn this overnight, but I've just started to really aggressively pursue boundaries and putting way more energy and effort into their stuff, into their versions of elk hunting, and understanding what their love languages are, and then like trying to balance that equation, which is really hard to do. But yeah, man, like I get offers to do podcasts a lot, and I, at some point, I just decided to no longer accept invitations for evenings. I need to be that with the family, and it's actually been one of the better decisions I made. So we just hang out in the evenings and make time for them, and we can always plan a podcast around that,
Right.
and we did. So
Oh, for sure. Like, so I have a daughter. She doesn't live with me. She lives down in Arkansas with her mom, but every summer she comes up and she stays all summer long. And like, summer is when like I'm out doing all my stuff and I'm like, I just gotta stop. Like when I get off work, I'm done. Like it's you're here for 3 months, you're getting all 3 months. And
yeah,
like, I have friends like, oh man, you gotta post more, you gotta do like, I 3 months, I go radio silent. I'm like, I might get a post in here or there, but I started doing that because there was one time where she was here and I had just started this new job and it was just from 5 to 5. I was working, then I'd get off work and I'd pick her up, and then I'm just constantly on my computer, just here, and she's over on the iPad just looking. It's like, I,
I get it.
I gotta slow down because I can't let the iPad raise my daughter at all. So,
Trust me, I feel that, and it's tough, man. You're being pulled two different ways, but I think, at the end of the day, like, what's really the most important part there? You
oh
with
yeah,
her, or getting some content out to people that don't really appreciate all the work you put, like all the sacrifice, whereas your daughter will appreciate that sacrifice.
oh for
Um,
sure.
and you can make a, yeah. So I respect your hustle, and I understand completely.
Oh yeah, that content. I, Even though I love doing it, it also becomes like a hindrance. Like,
Mhm.
gotta get content out, gotta get content out. And you said something right there for people who really don't even appreciate it that much. Like, it's not a bunch. It's always like one or two people that's always got something to say about the content that you make. But speaking of content, how do you feel like social media has affected the elk
Oh
hunting
yeah,
game?
yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, it's tough for me. I mean, historically speaking, I'm kind of like just like a public land over the counter tag dude for years and years and years. Not that I wouldn't hunt private, because I certainly would, but just kind of where I was at. And um, I've always been a guy who didn't have just 7 days. Like I said, I know I've quit 2 jobs for elk hunting, so it's like I'm just the guy who made priorities to go elk hunting as much as possible. So I've always had a lot of elk tags, whether or not I killed or not. I was just going to try. And um, I think just a couple years ago was the first time I felt like I'd gotten criticized for killing multiple elk in a season, and I was like, "What? What? I'm selfish for I killed 3 bulls in a year, and I'm taking too much of the resource." So it's like, man, these tags are like, you can get them too if you wanted to. You could
Right,
quit jobs and come elk hunt as much as I do, and I can certainly eat 3 elk a year. Check out my diet; it's like 90% elk meat. So yeah, social media is positive. Social media is negative. Has it affected elk hunting? I'm not sure it's affected as much as people say. I mean, it definitely has a part, but like I see the United States population only going up, and we only have so much land. I've seen like so much urban sprawl and development, like
mhm,
even places I used to hunt deer around here where somebody bought 100 acres and threw apartments all over it, where did those deer go? Can't hunt there anymore. And same with elk. And I've seen the wolf introduction, or I'm sorry, reintroduction. Um, I've seen the wolves destroy some of my best elk hunting spots in North Idaho. Where do those elk go? Well, a lot of them aren't here anymore, and their behavior changed. I also think COVID, that pandemic stuff, like really got a lot of people into hunting all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
Whereas before that, we were like, we got to recruit more hunting. We're losing hunters day by day, and now you hear people argue both ways. Like, no, we don't need more hunters. In fact, I selfishly want it all to myself. No, and then you'll have other people like, no, we need to hear. Here's what I do know about hunters: we are our own worst enemies,
Yep.
and we literally cannibalize each other. And it's seriously easy to do. It's easy for me to look down upon someone. Oh, you used a rifle. Oh, you shot that 1,000 yards. That's not hunting. Or, oh, you used a bow. I use a trad bow. Or, oh,
Yeah.
that was on a private land. Well, I'm a public land hunter. I'm better than you. So what all those things I just said, if you distill them down, they're all ego. They're all ego driven, like insecurity. And so if you can't be stoked for Trey because he got his first bull, it was on a guided hunt on private land. If you can't put that aside and be like, man, that's a great bull. Good job. I'm stoked for you. I'm so glad that you appreciate hunting, that you bought a hunting license, you bought a hunting tag. I'm so appreciative that you're getting involved in finding out where your meat comes from, your grocery shopping. And by the way, you're putting money towards conservation. Um, I hate the infighting. I understand jealousy and hate, which is why a lot of the stuff I do is post and ghost. Rarely do I read comments,
Yep.
rarely. And if I do see comments, somebody screenshotted them and sent them to me. It's not that I was scrolling through, and because I'm really motivated human being and I have high aspirations, and fools, I don't have time to sit on my phone and look at what you think about me, and it doesn't affect
Nope.
me. So you either love me or you don't. If you don't have haters, you're probably not doing it right. But to bring it back to my point, the problem with social media is it is a highlight reel. So you won't see a lot of the details that go into these things. You just see like the end product, which is unfortunate. And sometimes people post things that absolutely look terrible upon the hunting community. And I feel like those are the things, like, don't end fight, send a private message,
Right.
articulate a paragraph or two as to, hey, Trey, you laying next to that deer taking a selfie with his tongue hanging out doesn't really look respectful for the animal's life that you just took, that you made a decision to take its life. Yes, it's going to sustain you and feed you. But bro, come on, man. Like that doesn't look good. I think you could consider taking that down and posting a better picture. It doesn't mean you got to go put the deer in a freezer overnight so it stays in this perfect position, pull it out of the freezer and take these beautiful trophy photos the next day. Like, where do we draw the line? I'm not sure. I'm not your guy to tell you these lines, but I do think my takeaway message is, guys and gals, the anti-hunting community, these are the people that despise hunting and put their money where their mouth is. These are not the people that are indifferent to hunting. These are people that are 100% anti-hunting. They are uniform, they are organized and dialed. They
Yes,
don't
they
have
are.
infighting. They have a common goal and they're very good at it. And then on the other end of that spectrum is us, and we are insecure, weak, jealous people trying to beat our chests. I despise it, and I'm here to help make a change.
Oh, definitely. Hey, you said something that really like stuck out to me. So I had a buddy, when he's another vendor that I run across when I'm out working, and he deer hunts, but he never knew that I deer hunted at all. So I had posted a picture of me and my dad. We killed our first buck together 4 years ago. It was great, great moment, great memory. And this guy, now we talk in passing, but we wouldn't at the time wasn't friends. He inboxed me. He goes, "Hey, but hey, dude, I've seen you around town a couple times. You don't really know who I am, but I just want to give you a little advice. That picture you post with your dad, cool story, cool picture, but next time tuck the deer's tongue back in. He could have commented it in the put it in the comment section, but he did it in private, and I was like, oh, I didn't know. I appreciate it. Boom, done. Now I know what to do. He said, Give the animal some dignity." I said, "I got you, bro. Appreciate it." And
Man,
that's what we need to do. But we fight over so much stuff. You shoot Matthews, you shoot Hoyt. You were Sitka, you were First Light, you were Numa. Like even I showed a guy a picture of me and my dad in the book. His first question was it private land or public? And I was like, private. And it's like he's like, okay. Like then he was like, well, he wasn't excited to look at the picture anymore. And I was like, hey man, it was me and my dad's first deer together. Like I'm excited. I don't care if it was private or public. I'm glad I got to hunt with my dad. But yeah, we have a lot of infighting, and I don't know if it'll ever stop. I don't know what we can do to get it to stop. I don't know.
I don't know either, man. I'm just gonna continue to beat that drum. I'm just gonna like stand up and be like, hey, I'm not perfect. But I definitely recognize that we got an issue here, y'all. And you know, if somebody's clowning somebody else, maybe it's time you pick up the pen, write them a little nice, articulate, direct message, being like, "Hey, I appreciate what you're trying to do there. I think but at the end of the day, this, that, the other, we gotta stay united." Maybe you could have messaged this individual with um, a little bit more of a shit sandwich where a little nice in the beginning, tell them what they did wrong, and maybe a compliment at the end. You might get a little bit further. You might attract more bees with honey. And I don't think we need to be super sensitive about it. If I post something that's stupid and is about detrimental to the hunting community, send me a message. Let me know what your thoughts are. Now, I've had people do that. Like I've said things on my podcast. I've had people like, hey, I didn't really agree with you here. This is why, whatever. And, such and such. And I was like, hey, I think we can agree to disagree, but I appreciate you reaching out and I appreciate you telling me how you feel. Because if you didn't, I wouldn't have known. And I
Right.
respect you for the way you did it. So I know you didn't bring me out here to talk about this stuff, but this stuff's heavy on my heart, man, because I see it so much. And I'm just worried about hunt. I want my son to be able to hunt. I want his
Right.
sons to be able to hunt. And I want hunting to be a positive thing. I would think getting your own food and doing it right, doing it proper, doesn't mean I need to push my ethics down your throat, Trey. My ethics and your ethics might be a little bit different, but as long as we're following the rules that were governed by the state entity who has the animals in their trust, that's what I want to see, like compliance and appreciate the resource and do it respectfully, but just maybe a little less time beating your chest because there's just too much ego involved.
It's way too much ego. But like I said, I don't know if we'll ever get to stop. But as long as we each do our part, we'll get it all figured out.
I
So
hope so.
so Dan, what does hunting mean to you? Like when you at the end of the day, when you sit and say you're just got some free time and you think about hunting, what does it mean?
Oh, that's a pretty deep question. I think hunting so much for me that like the big view would be like it's really hard. I'm attracted to it because it's really difficult. It's not easy, um, especially like to go chase a bull that other guys can chase on public land, and go find one and get one killed and break it down and bring it all the way back to your truck and to show up in shape to be able to do it proper and to have shot your weapon year round to have the confidence. I mean, it's just like this one big, long, delayed gratification. Um, and there's only like maybe 10 minutes of full elation where you walk up for the first time and you did it. But I mean, that it's pretty short window, right, Trey? Because like September's hot. Like we got to get
you,
this,
you got to
we
start
got to get to
moving.
work. And so there's just like take a couple quick picks and get to work. Um, and those 10 minutes are like what I live for. It's like, oh my gosh, all this hard work finally paid off. And I love that. I when my kids are eating Taco Tuesday and it's elk meat, it's like y'all don't even know what I had to do to get that to your mouth. And so it's really rewarding. And then there's that sense of adventure. I just love the landscapes that I've gotten to experience because I'm chasing elk that I otherwise would have no reason to go into that BFE part of Wyoming. You know, I wouldn't have gone hiking in the brush right there, but I did because I heard a bugle. And so it takes me to cool places. And then it's a reset for me. Like when I go hunting, I usually don't have cell phone service. It's like a genuine break from all the noise, all the static, all the Wi-Fi's and notifications, emails. And then by the way, elk hunting is not all day action packed. There's some down times in there. Maybe you're
Mhm.
waiting on a bull to get up out of his bed and you got time to reflect. So for me, it's reflection in the mountains. It's time to like be still, be with the creator and to evaluate, like honestly, sincerely evaluate how are you doing as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a provider? What are your weaknesses? What could you do better? If you have skeletons in your closet, you're like, think about those things. Man, I gotta make that right with that guy. I feel bad about that. Like that's still bugging me. I'm thinking about it right now. So it's like so much more than putting an arrow through a bull. But it is putting an arrow through a bull. It's like all those things wrapped into one, and it's part of who I am. And you're gonna get a better version of me when I come out of the mountains. So it's so much to me, man.
That's deep right there. That's deep. You when you're out in the mountains, does it feel like when you get out that you got like 10 pounds off your shoulders? Like
It feels,
I
yeah,
feel like the like all the Wi-Fi and all these like signals that in our everyday life, I feel that it has to have some kind of effect on us. I don't know if it does or not.
sure.
I'm not scientist or what doctor, whatever, but I feel like when I'm out in the mountains and I don't have my phone, I'm not near any Wi-Fi, nothing. I feel like you said, that static is gone, and it's like you can think clearer. And then that downtime when you're not, you know, chasing a bugle or you're waiting. I look at my buddy and I go, man, I was like, it's wild to think that all this was created. Like
Hmm.
it was everything was placed here strategically. You know what I'm saying? And he's not big on religion, but I like even in that moment he was like, I believe it. He goes like it just didn't come out of nowhere,
Hmm.
and it give you that moment of clarity, and like you just think, and it's just a a darn good time when you're out with your buddies and hunting. Uh, for me, man, hunting is to me it brought my family together because before I picked up a bow or anything, like we were at odds. Me, my dad, and my brother, we were like not talking. And I started hunting, and I growing up, I wanted to go hunting with my dad because he hunted, but he would never take me. And at age of 30, at 30, 31 years old, I'm calling my dad. I'm like, hey, let's go on a hunt. And he was like, all right, cool. And then I called my brother, yo, come up here and hunt with me. And he was like, I don't like, okay, whatever. And end up they ended up riding together, which I thought was going to be a a storm. But when they pulled up to my house, they got the car laughing and talking. So okay, that was a good ride. That was a good ride. And then we go out and we hunt for the week, and we just like in the same hotel room, we're bonding, having a good time. And it's like now our relationship is like, I mean, we're solid again, all because of that hunting trip. And now we do it every year. So when
Hmm.
people like to me, hunting brought me out of depression and it brought my family together. So like that's why I love it so much. I have a past, even though I haven't been doing it that long, I've been doing it long enough for it to make a difference in my life.
Mm, that's cool. It's kind of like the glue to your family now.
Yep.
Um, yeah, that's special. It's not overlooked, honestly. My dad, like I hinted to early in the podcast, he did such a good job of taking me hunting, and to where it wasn't even about if I got a deer or not. It's like, dude, I just want that one-on-one time with my dad. Like he made me feel super special. I felt like I was doing something that was kind of like, I don't know, manly is not the right word, but it's like something that was like I was showing stages of maturation in his eyes, which was important to me. And That's cool that you guys do that, and I hope you continue to do that because this life is so short,
Oh,
and
it
we all
is.
get so busy. But if we can all stop and go do this hunt together, you'll never regret it.
Oh, no, not at all, man. Hey, Dan, I wanna thank you for taking time out of your day and away from your family to come chat with me. It was been an honor, and I hope that one day I get to meet you, and and we sit and talk more hunting.
That would be awesome, man. I do think we'll meet eventually for sure.
I'm actually surprised that you're not at ATAs this week. Or
Yeah,
did you go?
I don't even know. My personal opinion is I don't even know if ATA is going to be a thing in this digital era. Like for years and years and years, I went to ATA. Like I've been to ATA double digit times. And I didn't go 2 years ago, then it got canceled. And then this year I could have gone. And I was like, why do I need to go to Indianapolis, get a airfare that is going to be expensive, possibly get a flight canceled because of winter weather, rent a car, get a hotel room, go get, go shake hands. Like the old school networking stuff to me, it's like I just don't see the potential for it for years to come. That's my personal opinion. Don't get mad at me. I'm just being real.
I feel
Um,
you.
in this digital age, like, hey, you companies, whatever you're coming out with, cool. Like a guy like me who's has makes content for a living, like tell me what you got, send me whatever you got. We'll evaluate it, we'll inform people about it, we'll share our honest opinion, we'll send it back to you or we'll give it away. And to me, that's like the new way to do these new kickoff things
Yeah.
versus the old school networking, going to the bar with everybody after. Dude, I've done all that for a decade, and I don't see. You look on ATA media right now, it looks like a craft fair. It's not what it was back in the day. Back in the day, it was like wouldn't miss it for the world. I don't know if I'll ever go back, man. I hope my plan changes, but because I do miss seeing the friends, like the friend component and
Right.
seeing people in person. But I get a lot of that when I go to Western Hunt Expo. I catch up with a lot of people from the who hunt out west, but um, going to a show, just I don't know, it's tough, man. And then obviously I'm jaded. I have kids. You got to travel. You know how that is. It's like,
Mhm.
do I want to be so? And I already do all these ELKSHAPE camps, so I'm traveling enough as it is. So I don't know if I'll ever go to archery trade show again. Hate to say it, but it's the truth.
Yeah, I've never been, and I've done a couple shows, and people like, "Hey, are you going to ATA?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, I would love to, but my schedule just won't didn't allow it this year, uh, and it's like, and then when you agreed to do the podcast this week, I forgot that it was ATAs, and I was like, "Oh man, he might be at ATAs this week," and he's like, "Nah, I'm at the house."
Yeah, I'm chilling.
Oh yeah. So hey Dan, before we get out of here, let all the dreaded archer listeners know where they can find you on social media and all your different platforms.
Okay, yeah, we're just ELKSHAPE wherever platform you like. Not a big Twitter guy. I'll tell you where not to look. I mean, Twitter and TikTok ain't me. Um, I stick to the gram. I got a podcast and I got a YouTube channel. Uh, I put a lot of energy into those three platforms, and that's my cup overfloweth. So that's kind of where we're at. If you want to find us,
Oh, hey, Twitter's a cesspool, man.
I
It's I,
believe you.
yeah, Twitter is a cesspool. I don't know any anybody who creates outdoor content. I don't know too many people on Twitter. It's just not it ain't the platform for it, I guess. But
I
and
guess.
TikTok, I'm right there with you. I tried it and I was like, I feel like a child, man. Not saying that anybody who does TikTok is a child, but I felt like a child. I just couldn't do it.
Man, I have a producer for the YouTube channel. He's a stud. He's so good at everything. He's like bugging me to get a TikTok. He's like, you got to do it, man. Like you'll blow up. It's so much easier to get an audience there. And I was like, bro, Tim, have you read the terms that you're agreeing to on that platform? And he's like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, I'm out.
I'm
I'm
good
out.
on it.
Good on it. That's right.
Yep. Well, Dan, hey, again, hey, I appreciate you coming on to the show. And like I said, I hope we be able to do this again one day.
Thanks for having me on. Got enjoyed every second of it. Appreciate your time.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it. Hey, and this has been another exciting episode of the Dreaded Archer podcast, and we are out.